In 1920, much of Florida was mosquito-ridden swamp and scrubland that serious investors dismissed entirely. By 1925, lots of Miami were changing hands at prices that stunned observers across the country, turning school teachers and grocers into paper millionaires overnight. Then, in a span of roughly 18 months, the entire edifice collapsed before the stock market ever did. What happened in Florida in the 1920s was not merely a local curiosity. It was a landmark early example of the modern real estate bubble, driven by easy credit, mass marketing, and the same self-reinforcing feedback loop that would reappear in every major property boom that followed. At the start of the 1920s, Florida was, by most measures, an afterthought. According to the 1920 United States Census, the state's total population was roughly 968,000, making it one of the least populated states in the South. Much of its territory consisted of swamp, pine scrub, and mangrove. Summers were brutal, the mosquito problem was severe, and the infrastructure outside a handful of coastal towns was minimal. Henry Flagler had extended his Florida East Coast Railway to Miami by 1896 and completed the Overseas Railway to Key West in January 1912, seeding small resort communities along the Atlantic coast. But the idea that this landscape could become a destination for millions of Americans, let alone a speculative bonanza, would have struck almost any observer in 1920 as far-fetched. Three things converged to make the boom structurally possible. First, the automobile. By the early 1920s, car ownership was spreading through the American middle class, and Florida began building roads to receive the traffic. Second, post-war prosperity. The United States emerged from World War I as a creditor nation, and the 1920s brought rising wages and expanding consumer credit for many Americans. Third, a speculative mood that had found few outlets since the war. Real estate, unlike stocks, felt tangible and understandable. You could stand on a lot and imagine a house. That psychological accessibility made Florida land a natural vehicle for the decade's appetite for quick returns, and aggressive promoters were ready to exploit it. Watch the full breakdown on Wealthwright.